Hi, everybody. Welcome back to episode 3 of Div0 Unfiltered. You have me, Pengfei, today as your host, and together with me, we have Fadli, your co-host. Make some noise, Fadli.
Hi.
That's all we managed to get out of him. All right. So together with us, we have the usual group of guys that we decided are still good enough to stick around for episode 3. So we have Randen, Izzat,
Yong.
Yes, old man in the house. Old man in the house.
Old man.
Old man in the house. And of course, Emil. So say hi. Maybe next episode you won't get to see them anymore because they're kind of lame.
Hello.
Right. But not the most important people we have with us today. We have two very special guests that we are super honored to have join us today on our episode 3, which is from HITB, we have Dhillon and KaiJern. Well, I'll let them take it away and do their own introduction because I'm pretty bad at this stuff. So KaiJern, please take it away and introduce yourself.
Because you're bad and you pass it to me. All right, guys. Hey.
That's how it works.
All right, man. Right. Hi, I'm KaiJern. Some Malaysian, some Singaporean call me xwings. That is me. Basically what I'm doing right now is I started an open source project like a couple of years back. When was it? 2019, right before the COVID, right before the perfect world that everybody still can meet, fly here and there. So yeah, that was the time, So yeah, I can't remember. Hey, we still can fly in China.
Oh, dude, that's great, man.
Proper aeroplane. Yeah, proper aeroplane. Right?
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Hey, even in Singapore, you cannot fly. Come on. Don't lie to me.
I can fly.
You like from Singapore to Singapore.
You can take off. I think that's the.
You can fly your drone.
Yes. That's the closest thing, right?
Right. So yeah, that's basically about me lah. I'm running this open source project, and we got a nice community for the open source project.
Got no name, bro. Your project no name, is it?
Relax, bro, relax. I was like HITB underscore chilling.
That's right, buttering him up.
So we are from Malaysia and we are from Singapore group. Both of us, like I assume, correct, So yeah, I'm not from China lah, fuckers. and we don't have much contributors out of like what 80s contributors for the code. We don't have a lot of I think we have like one from Singapore committed some comments, like adding a question mark.
So that's all we are good for, I see.
And then yeah, you guys like condemning Malaysians are English. Hey, this fucker gonna pakai his English. So yeah. Hey, pass it to Dhillon.
All right, cool. Thanks a lot, KaiJern. So now we're gonna get Dhillon to introduce himself.
Okay.
Take it away, man.
Guys know me, right? I'm the HITB guy. Basically, run conferences around the world: Malaysia, Singapore, Amsterdam, Dubai. I'm now the coffee guy. Also, I've started up some coffee business, making coffee for hacker stuff. I send KaiJern some coffee. I send Emil some coffee. Also,
I think you should send us.
Please send me your address.
Yes, please. Yes. Yeah. We're gonna send you the name list later.
And then I do random shit basically.
Oh yeah, t-shirts.
T-shirts. What else I do? I do DJ stuff.
You do DJ
coffee
stuff.
Crap. Like yeah. I cycle.
What kind of music? What kind of music?
EDM lah, bro. Progressive.
Oh yes, that's right.
EDM, boy.
You see Dhillon's recent setup in his new restaurant.
It's a coffee shop.
Yeah, it's a coffee shop, but unfortunately it's not in Amsterdam lah, bro. So, it's not like the same meaning, Same meaning. But yeah, that's me basically. So I do like conference stuff, like that's my day job, I suppose.
Cool. I mean, that's a really brief summary of what you do. I like that. But now, let's get it started. I mean, since everybody is ready, introduce, everybody's comfortable. Well, first thing off the bat, we're going to talk about, is the, such a diverse group today, especially with Dhillon, who's been, in Amsterdam, in UAE, basically everywhere around the world other than, I don't know this, which are Antarctica. Sure. That's the last place I haven't been.
I haven't been to South America, I've been to Antarctica. But last year, I've been mainly at home. So,
I'm pretty sure all of us be at home.
I can't even go home. The fuck is wrong with you guys?
the Stevoverse, yeah. So we've got this huge diverse group here today with us. Definitely the first topic we're going to talk about is the different cultures, among the different communities, among the different people that we have mingled with. For myself, I mean, my only contribution to this conversation will be from a student's point of view. That was years ago when I first started off in 2012. Or it's not that short a period, it's about 9 years ago, right? So 9 years ago, when I started off as a little kid, when I was at 16, picking up on maybe finding how to become a hacker man, or I want to become something cool. So I picked up information security. So back then, it wasn't really that hot here in Singapore. Everything was, everybody called it a dumping ground. IT was called a dumping ground back then. I don't know more. Maybe it's just a Singaporean concept. Back then, accountants and aerospace engineers were really hot. All these trains, bandwagon shit. That's
What kind of hot?
super hot. Like everybody just want to be an aerospace engineer.
Okay.
No,
That's
You-
cool.
you
Come on,
didn't catch
man.
my question. You didn't catch
No,
my
man.
question. My-
I didn't say air stewardess. I said aerospace engineers.
Aerospace. There you go. How can
yes.
aerospace engineer be hot? I don't understand.
The position was hot. So
Okay.
so they hopped on that. And as we progressed, after I served the nation, after I finished NS, that was when cybersecurity in Singapore really started taking off. And now, like, even in primary school, everybody's picking up like programming classes and all that kind of stuff. So I would say we even have a youth movement now. Back then, there was no such thing as a youth movement. It was like, it's just a bunch of kids who wanted to join CTF, and then you just find your own teammates and then you just join CTFs. Sometimes the CTF collapsed, after 1 year or 2 years because there's not enough money sponsoring them. So that was how it was like. But I'll leave it to, of course, the older folks who's been around for longer. Who knows?
Hey, be thankful you had CTF, bro.
Oh, yes, of course.
We had to attempt it. We had to do the contest. We organized it. We couldn't play it, so it would suck even worse for us because all we could do was come up with the challenges, but and then watch other people enjoy themselves playing it and be like, yeah, fun, right? If you can play.
Yeah, man, fun.
Somebody else was organizing
Really fun.
CTFs, bro. At least you had CTFs.
Yeah, I mean, my team lead from my last internship used to complain to me the whole time, say like, "Well, back then in my days we only had EEE. I don't even have computer science, that kind of stuff." So I was like, okay, cool. Stop doing this. Back then in my days we have this kind of stuff. So that's exactly what we're here to find out today. How much has changed, from like 10 years? Maybe for some of you it's like 20, 30 years.
I think it's closer to 30 years, man. One of my first few CTF is actually I went to KL for Dhillon's CTF.
Damn.
15 years ago already. DG.
We are old, damn old, man. Like when I think about it, right,
15
it's like, time flies, man.
15 years ago, I think I was still playing Beyblade. In the void deck.
Emil, which year was that, Emil?
2007, 2008.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
At least a working professional already by then.
I was a primary 6 student waiting for my PSLE.
2007, 2008. That was my year, isn't it?
I can't remember already, man. I remember 2008. The winner was Blue Moon, from Vietnam.
You can remember the
Oh, then that is the one that I designed the challenges. Me, RD, and all these people.
Yeah, I actually accidentally DOS your system. Right?
We are not the system admin, so it's okay. Don't worry.
Actually, all these years, Emil's been pretty salty about it. That's why he remember who's the winner,
That's right.
He couldn't let it go.
No, it's actually a very fun experience because I was developing a honeypot back then, and I decided to see how it goes and end up crashing the entire network.
Went well then.
You're doing well, sir.
Yeah. Great.
But actually, it's true. I mean, not giving all the credits to HITB. Personally, I think HITB is like the first conference that I've been to before I'm aware of conference like DEFCON or Black Hat before I started cybersecurity. So yeah, when I was doing a research about CTF and stuff, I realized that a lot of Singaporeans actually went to KL to participate in the HITB organized CTFs. Because at that time, I'm not quite sure why, but Singapore at that time was really not really into cybersecurity, that's one. And secondly, you don't really see a lot of CTFs happening. We don't really have Division 0 back then. We don't have DEFCON, we don't have BSides. In fact, I think we actually rely on, I think we rely on conferences like, what was that, by EC Council, Hacker Halted. I still remember back then, yeah. hacker house that
actually,
came to Singapore. Yeah.
How did you mention it? In the early days, right? 2005, 2006, 2007, somewhere around that time, right? It was Six Square, SIG Square.
Yes, correct. Yeah,
That
so
was
the
the
time,
community group that was
yeah.
around. And Six Square used to arrange a bus and bring a whole bunch of hackers from Singapore up to KL. And so it was like hackers on a bus. And that was like the original road trip thing that the guys used to do to come over to KL. I remember there was a group of Singapore guys that would like tumpang together, share hotel because like, hey, I mean, everybody's broke as shit, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I remember it was Six Square. So Aloysius, Cecil,
Cecil Su.
Oh gosh.
Alvin, Eugene.
Yeah, Eugene. Yeah.
Oh, Eugene.
Yeah, those guys. Those were the guys.
So
Aloysius is like
when I
big
went
tough
over,
right?
when I went over, actually I was with the 6 people. So when I started, also trained with them lah. Well, that was the first time they when they were training, they were going through all the audit debug stuff. That was the first time I saw assembly code and I go like, what the hell is all these things, man? That was the first time I realized that security is nuts. It's a crazy field.
You guys bring back my memories, man. I was exchanging flag with Eugene 2005. But he got some flags, I got some flags, so it's like, hey, we should exchange some flags. So yeah, that's how we do it.
And Pengfei was playing Beyblade.
2005, I think it was Pokemon cards, guys.
So if you think about it, pretty much HITB plays a part in developing quite a number of conferences nowadays, at least in Southeast Asia context, right? Back then there was nothing. You see people from Indonesia going to KL. You see from Malaysia going to KL. Which people from Brunei go to KL. So every like KL is the playground for hackers at the time. Yeah,
Okay, I gotta do a disclaimer right here. Disclaimer right here. We are not sponsored by HITV for this.
We should be. We should be.
Yeah, so it's amazing how HITV actually evolved over time. That was crazy.
Well, it does make a very huge difference comparing whether that country having an active hackers group or not. Last year and this year, I tried to reach back to TAR College, right? One of the most whatever college in Malaysia. That's where I studied. The lecturers during my time, the lecturers were still there. I'm quite close with one of the computer science lecturer. And then, of course, I'm not from computer science. I was from a business admin. So yeah. So I spoke to her, and then she tried to arrange some students to do some CTF and all these things since last year. All right, and then she arranged some. She tried to arrange some meetups and all these things. And every time when we start to talk at these things, and then one of the questions that I always get is, these Malaysian students, they dare to ask me, what kind of salary can they get in security field? I was like, dude, do you want to look at my paycheck or not? You will shit out of your pants, way. So
Actually,
yeah.
Actually, I think that's the same here in Singapore. I mean, some of the main questions that Emil get asked a lot during the meetups also as well is the students come up and ask, hey, so how much exactly do you know? How much can we earn in cybersecurity?
It's an important question, right? I mean, right, if you're going to invest your time and energy into like whatever it takes, like 5-10 years to become a master at something, right? Like you need to know that it's something that is going to pay the bills and be able to give you at least a stable house, wife, kids, whatever the hell it is that normal people would want, right? Like,
yeah, of course.
And buy a lot of quads.
Yeah. But I think the younger generation forgets that actually you guys have unlimited potential to do anything, right? You can do startup, right? I mean, there's so much money out there, bro. Like, there's so many VCs just throwing money for stupid shit, bro. Like, put some AI in it, call it blockchain, boom, use money.
Blockchain.
Right? You can pretty much like make your own destiny, right? You don't have to depend on a job. In fact, I would tell people like, why the fuck you want to work for someone, bro? Like, work for yourself, man. Like, it sucks working for people, bro. Like, I haven't. I have never had a job for like the last, I don't know, really, really long time, basically. So I don't know what it's like. But
how long is that? How long is that, Dhillon? How long is that?
Well, you're playing Blades.
Oh shit!
A long time ago, man. Really
no, longer than that.
Like 20 years.
Oh shit! I was even playing Beyblades. I think
Yeah.
6 years old. I don't know what I'm doing.
Lego.
I have a job, but I never go back to office. I think for an entire 2012 and 2020 and 2021, the amount of days for me in office is like what? Not more than 20 days. That's it.
Wow.
Actually, it's around the same here as well. I mean, right now Singapore is in our we cannot use lockdown. We're in our heightened alert. Heightened alert phase. Yes. Must be correct. Later we get POFMA, the whole
You're
thing.
filtering yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think-
Heightened alert.
I think KJ, like to bring back to the topic that we want to talk about, I think KJ brought a very good topic that we can actually discuss, the culture of education that we have been observing right now. Like when KJ is being approached, like how much do you get to be in cybersecurity, as a salary? So, in the past, most of us who actually embark our journey into cybersecurity because we have passion in cybersecurity, right?
Mhm.
So education is more of learning, right? Rather than a tangible qualification to a certain amount of salary that you want, right? So right now, I think the question that is being asked by KG, I think Emil also received the same question. I also received the same question by a lot of students in Singapore as well, right? What certification do I get? How much is the salary if I graduate, right? So it's very different when it comes to in the past, like 15 years ago or 20 years ago. People embark in cybersecurity because they really want to learn about cybersecurity. Salary is a secondary thing, but now it seems to be like, you qualify, you get certificate because the first priority is how much salary can I get and I join. So I think, that's one different culture, I guess.
So
Do
I
you think it's a
got
good culture?
It's a bad culture, basically. But I got asked that same question in India, right? Like, how much money can you expect to make, blah, blah, blah. And I said, essentially, go find an exploit, bro.
I mean, but if you look at, Dhillon brought up a very good point about India. So, but if you look at the culture of India, they have so many people. I mean, of course, their population is high. But at the same time, if you look at the talent over there as well, it's very different also. So they can actually survive simply by finding bugs. And I've seen quite a number of people like down there, like so many hundreds of Indians finding vulnerabilities that they are being rewarded from $5,000 to $25,000. And these are the kind of bugs that they found. Not really in those pawn-to-own organization or pawn-to-own competition. It's more like an everyday thing that they actually find, bug bounty, stuff like that, and they get it.
So why don't more Asian guys do it? Why don't more Singaporeans and Malaysians do that?
Yeah, I think one of the key problem with Singapore's mentality behind cybersecurity is that the government always believe, that once we have this lack of manpower, especially in this particular sector, we're gonna tell the kids that we're paying a lot of money. There's a huge amount of cash for you to get. So you interest the parents. When I went back, right, especially because I still am a scholar from IMDA. So when IMDA had a scholarship, where we talk to younger scholars and that kind of stuff, we met. I wanted to talk to like younger scholars. So I asked them, I say, so why do you pick up, information security? Because back then when I was signing up for Polytechnic, I think only about 2 or 3 polys offer information security. But now all the polys offers information security as a course. So when I asked them, they told me, one of the scholars told me that, actually her parents forced her to embark on this. They say it's like the next doctor. She can become the next doctor or next lawyer kind of pay kind of job. Yeah. So I personally, because I feel a little bit bummed out when I heard that kind of reply, because when I signed up for cybersecurity, I was really because I was inspired a lot by the movies that I watched and by the things that I've done when I was a little kid in secondary school. So when I heard this kind of response, it kind of bummed it out. But really, how else do you think we can solve this talent pool issue? Because right now we don't have enough people in Singapore to take on the jobs, and a lot of these jobs, because it's cybersecurity, is very sensitive in nature. So we definitely need, let's say, I mean, it's sad to say but we need the background check and all that kind of stuff. It can't just thoroughly. Yeah.
If it's Singapore, government needs to be Singaporeans, it goes without saying, right?
Yeah.
Your country has the same issue, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
That's like standard. That was standard, right? Malaysia.
Too blunt.
Yeah, Singapore, Singaporean, normal.
I think the question here is more of interest versus job. So job brings you stability, right? Say got a job, stable. Once your family, you need to foot the bills, you want a stable job. And people say, look, career is more important. Vis-a-vis interest, go find a vulnerability, and that's good. But you don't have a stable income, right? Sometimes you hit a jackpot, honestly, sometimes a bit of luck, right? A bit of try,
Yeah.
And I guess if you are happy enough to have that lifestyle, say, look, no, happy as some income come in some months, some months have a big windfall, some months it's just totally dry. If that's the mindset, continue. But I think in Singapore, at least I don't enough of Malaysian culture. I think some parts are the same. We still believe in that view about a stable job, you have a title, what's your job role, right? Yeah. So I think that's one that drives it. Yeah.
And I think that's a very, I don't know whether it's a good culture or bad culture, but I think I think generally everyone here is being brought up that way, right? You need to you work hard to get to where you want and stuff. And then if you look at how civil society progresses over time, the how people are getting income right now, by doing things in TikTok, Instagram, you get sponsors, you get advertisers, and you see a lot of people are actually being paid thousands of dollars, a lot more than people who actually with degrees and masters.
True.
So the working culture in the future, I would say, will change, because there's a lot of people where students as young as 15 and 16 quit education in order to embark in this journey of TikToks, right? So I wouldn't say it's a bad thing, because naturally the reason why we have a job is to earn money, right? And if people can get more money by doing this, it's still considered a job, right? So probably right now maybe we are still immature enough to expect to see that or accept that as a reality. But in time to come, you start to see that a lot more people tend to realize that education is not just the way to earn more money.
Yeah.
If let's say the mentality of qualification to get more money, but I think doing things.
I would say, right, this is literally a fucking Asian issue.
Yeah, I agree. It's an Asian thing. It's an Asian thing.
Asian problem, bro. Asian problem.
Okay, yeah.
You know, because Europe, they don't have this issue, bro. It's like 18 years old, get the fuck out of my house. You don't have no problem. You want to drop out of school, have at it, bro. America, the same thing as well. I mean, the only other place that is quite similar, but like it's kind of a reverse problem, right? They're not asking so much about how much money I earn. It's the Middle East. So we have the same issue, right? Like we do conference there. We have a lot of student kids over there as well, university kids. And for them, the reverse is true, because they don't need the money. As in, they're like either they're from rich family, or they already got money, or to get them motivated on like, why to get into cybersecurity. And UAE also has the same issue like every other government, right? There's talent shortage, and they need nationals to be in the security centers and stuff like that. So how to fill that gap? There's like 50,000 roles or whatever that they need to put, and there's like, only X number of students, right? And it's going to take time. That's not something you can solve instantly. But how to keep them excited is, in the Middle East anyway, they all want to be like as seen in TV, as in like the hackers that are on TV. Or like like breaking shit, they watch Mr. Robot, right? And everybody is inspired by Mr. Robot. They're like, Mr. Robot, man, I like that Mr. Robot guy. I want to be like that guy. So I'm like, okay, great, that's great, because that's a good motivation, because no amount of money can be enough. After a while, the number of zeros in your bank account means shit, and you'll be like, macam tak cukup lah, bro. Tambah sikit lagi. And then it's always that carrot. You're always chasing it, you know what I mean? But if you want to be Mr. Robot ain't give a shit about his bank balance, bro. You want to hack the stuff because it's cool, man, right? And so I think we just need to make cybersecurity cool. As in, like, if you make all of the kids understand that, like, it might not pay so much, that doesn't matter, but you want to do Jason Bourne level shit, not bro. You want to be like the cool guys that are like, I know things that if you know about it, you freak the shit out, bro. If you know what we know, you won't sleep well at night. You wanna be part of that? Like, come and join us on that side, man, because that's where it's really interesting. Fuck all of this security consultancy bullshit. You want a 9-to-5 job? Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. That's your Asian parents brought you up. But hacking is different, bro. It's not 9-to-5 shit, man. It never ends. It never ends, right? There's no 9-to-5, bro. You don't put down the GDP when it's like, time to balik rumah. Right?
But if you look at it, Dhillon, I think I'm not so sure whether you are seeing the same thing in conferences as you used to have. So let's say, for example, in DEFCON, right, the culture of presentation. If back then when I was looking at some of the old topics, you see in DEFCON, they are openly talking about how they hack an organization, how they hack each other. But now with all these issues of people getting arrested, for even disclosing it publicly and stuff like that, you see that the topic in DEFCON right now has been streamlined in a way that people are there's not excitement as it used to have back then, right? So I'm sure I'm not quite sure HITB is also noticing the same thing as well.
Definitely. I think that's a cultural across like just network security in general, because now everything has been commoditized, right? Like you have exploits that have a cool name, you know what I mean? And then there must be a cool website to go with that exploit, you know what I mean? And then there's a press release and you have to do all of this shit, you know what I mean? You have to have a cool logo and crap like that, right? It's been productized, right? Like so exploits and stuff. So presentations are no longer about the merit of the technicality of it, you know what I mean? The technicalities of it, right? Like so the cool chun hack that you used to see like Barnaby Jack spitting money out and stuff, you will never see that shit again, right?
Yeah.
But you Tesla hacking the plane,
Sadly.
HITB, you won't see that shit again.
Yeah.
Because it's like I need to think about how is this going to be impacting me tomorrow and the day after that, as in my reputation down the line, and then how can I monetize this? Not as a product, but my brand, because I'm a brand, right? I'm the guy who found that fracking exploit that now 700 million devices, 2 billion devices are impacted, cause everybody to stock market crash, whatever the hell it is, right? I'm that guy, right? I'm that dude. So now the opportunities are endless. So I'm going to be very careful about how I present myself, because I want those opportunities. Right? I don't want to go to jail. Who the fuck wants to go to jail, bro? Nobody, man. Nobody wants to go to jail, man. Everyone wants to drive around the 458s, bro, and be chilling out, right, in Miami. Right? So yeah, it's commoditized, lah. It's commoditized.
That's how it's changed a lot, right? I remember like in the past, before 2010s, there's so many people openly talking about hacking our organization and stuff like that, But then after that, you start to see lawsuits coming in. People have to cancel their talk because of papers from lawyers, and you start to see the downgrade or the degradation of presentation, right? And people don't really come to conference to be excited anymore because of this stuff.
Not really. Let's put it this way. There are 3 levels of this kind of things, you see. When it comes to this kind of thing, there's always 3 levels. You have the front level that you hack into some big things, and then people remember you go into press and all these things. And then you have the second level that actually discover the bug. He might not be famous, but the upper level one will get. And who is the poor motherfucker over here? We are the one. Yes, we are the one. We are the one that wrote the tools. We are the one that started, Project Unicorn Engine and all this shit. And who remembers about us? No fucking buddy. We are just doing our shit, and then we were like, and everybody used our tools to find a bug.
Yeah. You know who remembers you guys, bro?
The one that get money.
The underground guys, bro. All the underground guys remember one, because all those tool sets are essentially what they need for building their crap, right? Like, so if they don't have the frameworks to test all of their stuff out, then they can't deploy it. And so basically, they always remember who the tool authors are.
Of course, just a small amount of people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the small amount of people. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think that's just always going to be that way, you know what I mean? The tool author, a tool is a tool, right? Like unless it has a cool logo,
website.
Yeah, you need
to the moon.
The big vulnerabilities is famous. Heartbleed, Spectre, Meltdown all have a cool logo.
Yeah.
No. It's not about people remembering us or not. You see, you need to, that's why it goes back to the discussion that we discussed just now. You need to have the passion to do whatever you want to do. We have been doing this stuff for so long, and then we don't really get any credits from the public on these things, but we don't give a damn. We have the we have the kind of mentality. We just cannot stand to see when the community or the entire industry don't have such a logical tools exist in the entire industry. Yes, we were like, how the hell you guys can survive without having that kind of debugger for that kind of job, you see? So let's do some advertisement. The talk for tomorrow, my talk in Hack in the Box tomorrow. Yes.
Let's do it. Yeah. We have a disclaimer right now.
Yeah.
Disclaimer.
It's not an advertisement. Okay, and we're gonna release something. We're gonna release some GNU debugger alike tools for EVM.
Okay, that's it, guys. You heard it here first. Here and Unfiltered.
And if anyone is wondering what the hell KJ is talking about, tomorrow and Friday is HITB Amsterdam.
That's right.
Yeah, HITB Amsterdam. Oh yeah.
Okay, Emil, you gotta rush this video out so we can be the first.
Wait,
to publish it.
there's a technicality. We have to publish this podcast as first.
Oh,
podcast.
Yeah. Tonight. That's it. Emil's not sleeping
4
anymore.
hours, man.
No,
Yeah.
but the thing is, adding on to what Fadli said, but although conference, you can say that some of the talks, what is being out there on the stage might be a bit more filtered down. But I'll say, at the end of the day, at the last few years, although it seems that way, I'm still always very excited to go to various different conferences, because on the back end, like people who knows what the hell is going on, what is really going on behind those talks, we want to actually go to talk to the speakers, to pick their brain, to be there with them, and then it's the offline thing, and that's the
Hallway track, bro. Hallway track.
Yeah, this is the off the non-publicized, not track 1, not track 2. It's the backroom track. That's the most important and the most exciting one.
And that's why everybody is complaining that now online conference sucks ass, because you should have the hallway track, and that's actually why you go to conferences. Like, I mean, in the 20 odd years we've been running HITB, I've never really watched a talk from start to finish. You know what I mean? Like, never have had a chance. I always watch it on YouTube after the fact, right? But it doesn't matter, because all the cool shit happens, as Emil said, in the hallway, right? It happens like when you bump into somebody and like, hey bro, I haven't seen you for ages, man. Like, what are you working on? Blah blah blah. Right? Like, that's the part that I think everybody misses. I think that's the physical interaction that cannot be replicated, no matter how many Zoom windows you throw at it.
I totally agree. Totally agree.
Yeah, I think so. Important message to our younger viewers or whoever listeners who are listening to our podcast. It's really important for you to find a passion in cybersecurity, as opposed to just going at it because government says you can earn money.
That's life, bro. Find a passion. That's life, bro. Like, you have to find a passion.
I mean, we got to caution them, because remember the last kind of bubble, the aerospace engineer bubble burst because there's COVID. The accountant bubble burst 5 years ago because I don't know what. So the cybersecurity bubble that AI, yes, but the cybersecurity bubble is definitely going to burst in the future. So if you're not gonna find passion, if there's nothing that keeps you coming back to your job the next morning, every day when you wake up, if there's no passion behind it, you're not going to be able to survive in this field for very long. And it's such a fast-paced field. Whatever was relevant 5 years ago is no longer relevant now. Yeah. So
but can I sort of disagree that the cybersecurity bubble is going to burst? I don't think it ever burst.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have tech.
Come on, guys.
Just morph and transform. Yeah.
It will evolve. It will not.
Because
technology is now getting even more prevalent, right? Like, as in the problem is getting spread thinner and wider than anybody imagined, right? Like, so the attack surface now is fucking insane. Like, you remember BYOD nonsense, right? Then now we are like, like fucking connect everything. Connect all the shit into the cloud, microwave lah, fridge lah, everything is put onto the network.
It's crazy.
So the attack surface becomes so wide that basically now you have there's security for everything under the damn sun. Essentially there's security for vacuum cleaner. So basically, like, IoT device security, hardware device security. What is old is new again, because a lot of the bugs are embedded are the same old normal bullshit bugs from last time. You know what I mean? The low hanging stack overflow, kind of buffer overflow from like early 2000s. All can pakai. All the good old techniques last time that before ASLR and stuff, right? All now cannot pakai, right?
Yeah.
But all of that stuff still can pakai on IoT. So dig up all of the old exploits, right? All the old chains and shit and all, like, can pakai one. Just need to rewrite for ARM. That's it.
That is the reason why you need all the debugging tools.
Yeah.
Nice plug again.
Want to advertise again? Yeah, advertise again.
You know what's funny is when I read books. I'm a bookworm, so I read a lot of books. Those written in the 80s and 90s in terms of cybersecurity. The funny part is, every time when I read books that are authored in the 80s about cybersecurity, it's strange that whatever that is mentioned in those books is still applicable now. It's still applicable 20 years, 30 years later. It's not like lawyer book, lawyer, because after you change the law, that particular law will be no longer is applied in today's world. But cybersecurity, those books that I read in the 80s or 90s, is still applicable now. Which is, I don't know, man. It's evergreen, man. It's going to be evolved. It's just going to evolve. Like what Dhillon said, I totally agree with it. It's going to be huge, right? So yeah, I don't see any problems with cybersecurity in the cybersecurity sector in the near future. It's just going to get more demand for this.
Yeah.
I think the message to the younger folks to the call is not so much about you will there's a bubble, but more of it's going to evolve, right? If you don't have passion to keep evolving together with it, right? You're going to fall behind. As you'll be, man, I'm a X-age old man, right? I have to learn new tool, but you don't have a choice. You got to keep learning on new stuff, right? It's not your accountant. It's always the same, right? That's why AI will replace it, whatever.
Yeah. So this bubble that I'm talking about is actually really regarding the job that they're doing. So let's say, I mean, to my prior experience when I was in a SOC, right, I was actually, tasked with automating the tier 1 analyst job. So there was a lot of inertia coming back from ops because they feel like we're replacing their job. So what I'm trying to say is that people should get rid of that mindset of, instead of hating on people who are trying to automate your job, progress better. Progress yourself to level 2 and tier 3, tier 1, tier 2 to tier 2 or tier 3. So instead of just remaining at tier 1. So that's the kind of bubble is going to burst. Right now, government is like proclaiming for all these entry-level jobs in cybersecurity, but it doesn't end when you just get in. It never ends. I mean, the job I think is just the beginning of what you're really going to focus on.
Yeah, actually, it reminds me of. Sorry, it just reminds me of a conversation I actually have 4 years ago. It was this mentorship session that I think Pengfei also went when he was much younger lah. So there was this student that was asking me about. He said that he's actually quite afraid of joining the cybersecurity because one thing he's looking at is he want to be a pen tester, and he's actually wary about this this so-called bubble that Pengfei was talking about. Is things like as technology gets better, with all this AI conversation coming out, it's like, then if I go into if I go into pen test now, go into my OSCP, my CREST, 5-6 years later, will I be out of my job? Then I look at him, I was like, hey, dude, when you want to get into cybersecurity, right? Fall in love with cybersecurity or fall in love with pen testing. Don't fall in love with the job, right? Yeah. Fall in love with the domain, and as it evolve, right, then evolve together with it. Right, and if there's AI, then AI for pen test whatever. Just be, just fall in love, be passionate, and evolve with the field.
The problem over here is it's we have three different problems over here. Number one is in Malaysia, we don't even have that kind of conversation. Nobody give a damn about cybersecurity, even the government. There is and this Singapore, like what you guys say, Singapore is still pushing for the entry level. Thank God you guys are still pushing it. In Malaysia, we got nothing. Nobody give a damn about cybersecurity.
Also, your education system is much better. Let's just face it, okay? Like English as a medium of instruction in Singapore makes you guys be much better at cybersecurity because all the white papers are written in what? French, is it? No, right? They're written in English. But in Malaysia, our comprehension of English is very low. Very, very low. Like outside of the bandar, as in outside the cities, right? You go and talk to any youngster. Most of them, their English command of English is like passable at best, But when it comes to cybersecurity, being able to communicate your thoughts clearly is critical, bro, because you can be the smartest guy around, but if nobody can understand the motherfucking thing you're saying, fine.
True, it's true.
So you guys are you are lucky in a way. I think your education system is set up. Your government is also taking the shit seriously. So those two combination together, right, is that you really have a lot of good opportunities, right? Like really much like the world is your oyster. You can do anything you want. And if you think about cybersecurity more as an open-ended blue ocean, as in there's all sorts of problems to be solved, right? They're not only technical problems. They're also because security is not a technology, it's a human people problem, right? So there's always, we need security in everything. As in we need people to write policies, right? And policies that make fucking sense. Because right now, the legislators writing the policy and, it's like there's a mismatch. As in it doesn't meet in what the real world requires, or there's like, it doesn't cover for the fringe cases, or it can't cover for the fringe cases. So, there's so many problems to solve. It's not only the technical problems that are cybersecurity problems, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right. Definitely. I think there's a need for all kinds of different, cybersecurity roles. There isn't one that's more important than the other. Yeah, everything in different domain itself is equally important. Yeah. So I think we've dwelt enough on the culture. Went a little bit. I don't think we went too deep because we don't want to hurt any feelings. That Singapore is better. I don't know.
It's a fact, bro. It's a fact. I mean, there's no need to argue it, bro. It's it's a fact, bro. Like, you want to say Malaysia education system better, come on, lah, bro. What are you smoking? Give some, bro.
What kind of leaf, man?
It's like,
What coffee shop, yeah.
yeah, what coffee shop you at, bro?
What coffee shop?
Dylan, I mean, I can have a debate with you to say that I don't think Malaysia is any better or Singapore is any better than Malaysia. Definitely it's discussable. But frankly, I think the reason why you are saying what you are saying is because from what you are seeing firsthand. So if you look, okay, let's say for a cyber angle in Malaysia. I think MISA just released a cybersecurity framework. Just I think 2 days ago, and I had a chance to read on their plans from 2021 to 2024, their plans for cybersecurity. And I think it's a well thought out plan. The challenge here is, for me, is not about their plans, it's executing it. One.
Exactly.
Yeah. Secondly is
that is why we are laughing.
Secondly is maintaining the security of the system. So they have a lot of plans, but I think Malaysia, to compare Singapore is small. So you can say it's easily to govern everybody under one big stock or whatsoever. But in Malaysia, there's hundreds, thousands of websites. So in terms of administration, it's very challenging. Right.
Okay. We have to close this topic. Before we close this topic, let's talk about China. I want to talk about the communists. Come on.
Sure. Please. Actually, that's great. That's great. I mean, we want to bring in a third party to complement these two.
Right.
What's good in China?
Yeah. So they have this culture over here. Okay, when I talk about culture, right? The higher level people, whenever they come up with a decision, all right, when they pass the message to the second level, the third level, the fourth level, the fifth level, up until the normal people like us, right? Okay, or not including me, when I said about the normal people, I'm still holding Malaysian passports though. So when they pass the message down, everybody try to do extra one step from whatever their boss told them. So I give you an example. Okay, so let's say they say that you cannot leave your home, like before 1 o'clock. Then they pass one level down, it will become 10 o'clock. 9 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, that kind of thing. So it's very common over here. So when the government says we want to put cybersecurity in our top tier positions, everybody should focus on these things. They really do it properly. Okay, so over these years, they really evolve. Okay, from organizations started to hire a fresh grad and all these things, salary getting higher and higher and higher every year. Their interns, it's getting like what, a 300 renminbi a day for interns, that kind of salary. You're talking about, so let's say a fresh grad for master, easily what, 25k, 5k Singapore dollar a month, easily. Okay, so that is for a fresh grad, let's say a master. They even have this kind of thing. They even have this annual hacking event, by Tencent and all these things, and it goes up to national TV live. They can do until that kind of things, to just to make their leaders happy, and they do things seriously. So when you talk about executions, it's not about it's not really about how outside people looking overseeing the whole entire project and all these things. It's like how people do it, and whether your passion is there or not, and how you obey, the command for, before I got sent back to Malaysia.
So basically you're saying that Malaysia could take some notes from China.
He's saying communism is good, basically.
They are doing their job,
But do you think the number of people over there, the population is, they are like the biggest in the world, right?
You see, yes, they have the organization over there. They have enough job position over there. They have enough things to push the entire culture. But is the government serious enough or not? That is the entire question, which Malaysia not. They are not bloody serious about anything. They can come out with all their plans every year, all different kinds of plan. The only reason why they want to come out with plan is they can sit together and have some very nice nasi lemak, and next year I see you again. That kind of things. They will not be able to.
We had a plan, man. We had a plan. Really ada plan lah. Then
I don't know, man. I mean, for me, I look into I see more than just what's happening also. So I think Malaysia, although I wouldn't say that they are slow, but I still see that they really put out this initiative to really enhance the cybersecurity
Let's put it this way, let's put it this way. This plan can come out 10 years ago and already executed. You don't have to wait until today and try to tell everyone we got the plan. No. It's going to be the same plan. 10 years ago, somebody brought it out and then they totally forgotten about it and they try to do it again this year.
It's probably called Prisma, actually. It's probably the project that was already rolled out years ago.
The idea.
It's Prisma. It's definitely Prisma, because where else are you going to get the documentation from, right? So Malaysia was actually at one point kind of, I wouldn't say like pushing the envelope, okay, but they did have some cool shit, but then after a while, like a lot of the guys like who were really passionate about it, like the younger guys like Poklis, like so Scan Associates, I'm not going to name the company now basically. I mean, Scan Associates had a lot of really, really good guys. But then those guys kind of like got bored trying to convince management that this is an important thing to do properly and not just let's just build a damn contract, get some money, you know what I mean? Like, so people got greedy and then just masuk pocket dulu, don't need to do the project properly, and then like the dudes that were tasked to actually implement it got disillusioned because they're like, I thought we have all this money to implement and fix this thing properly. What happened? I asked for all this equipment that we need, and then like you got me like some switch. What the fuck is this? So those guys then left, and so those plans probably are sitting somewhere dusty. And then like now like KJ said they discovered, hey, ada plan dekat sini.
Nasi lemak.
So jom kita buat meeting, and discuss this plan that was already sitting around for ages. But the implementation is definitely going to where the rubber meets the road. Is like the road is here, the rubber is here. The car is flying.
I can relate as well back in the Philippines. So the government has a lot of these frameworks, cybersecurity, privacy thing, but then implementation is a problem. So we will still see a lot of security incidents in the Philippines. So even at the government level, they cannot even implement their own frameworks. So yeah, adoption is really bad even at that level.
Yeah, I think this is common everywhere, lah. I mean, my mantra of
is Emil, you're wrong. It's not common everywhere, except for China.
Oh yes,
except for communist brothers.
I might get there, but
I have to suggest something before.
It's very simple. How to judge is very simple. It's just looking at there are how many CTF teams are outside. We have Philippines teams, we have Singapore teams. You have Indonesian teams. Don't mention about the communist team, lah. They have an army over there. But hey, Malaysia, wait, hello.
Yeah, I think I need to suggest that we mosaic KJ's face just in case he can't go back to Malaysia.
Cannot come back, bro. He confirm cannot come back already.
The thing is,
you better come to China, Dhillon. They're gonna lock you up.
I bring coffee for you, bro. Don't worry.
Sorry, Emil, you were saying?
Yeah. My mantra at the end of the day is always I always tell this to everyone, talk is cheap, right? Execution is king, right? That's the end of that's the end. That applies to everything.
Yeah.
The issue about any policy is I've been doing policy for the.
Oh shit, man! You see China launching a rocket at us, right?
Hello, Elon.
No, the thing is, that's the thing about policy. I think to be fair, at least now finally there is from Malaysia's side, at least there's a plan, right? At least there's what happened next, right? So no, I've been doing policy for the longest time, and even in my uni, my thesis as well, I was looking into various different policies. And the thing is, I think I got two points to make. First one is talking about policy is always very tightly related to political systems. Actually, if you look at all the different policies, right, it's always why people are always so excited to roll out plans. Because citizens, people on newspaper, that's the thing that hits the news. It hits the headline that there's a new plan, and that creates the rah-rah, and people say, hey, the politicians, right, the government or the whoever, the companies, and they are doing something. But if you say that I am on track with my plan, right, that will never hit the newspaper one, right? So usually all the top people end up, they just want to, okay, I roll out one thing already. What's next? What's the next thing to roll out? No one follows through. The implementation, if you want to fix this, if we focus more on the implementation, and that's what people are excited about and really want to get people to be accountable for, then I think that will change things. And I think that's probably one of the good system that KJ is mentioning over there, that, you know, they focus so much that we want to prove that we can do a good job. So I don't know about Singapore actually, or even Malaysia or around this region. So when I did my thesis 5 years ago, looking at all the different strategy or cybersecurity strategy, was in Europe lah. And back then, there was I think EU pushed that all EU 28 member states must have a strategy, and this is back in 2013, 2015 kind of time. And part of their and part of them is, as they roll out, they actually have a 3 to 5 years interval, and say that so when they say like, they publish such strategy for 2010 is to say, by 2015 what needs to be done. 2015 then to 2020 what needs to be done. They actually have a checkpoint that make it mandatory that, say, halfway through the strategy, right, is it on track, and as well as do we need to change because landscape might change. So if you look, even back in the UK, they have like officers, like statistics officers. You can look through all the information and see that, you know, of all the X amount of millions they are spending, are they really reaching there or not? So I think the more we focus, once we have systems that focus on keeping track of implementation, I think that will help in a lot of things, and not just thinking about coming out with plans and eating nasi lemak lah.
Accountability lah, bro. That's basically what it is lah. In Europe, everything is transparent. You're paying 55% income tax, right? You will definitely want to know your money go where.
Yeah.
Right? So our income tax rate in Malaysia is what? I don't know, like damn low. So Singapore also probably quite low. And so because of that, people are less inclined to really give a shit, you know what I mean? As long as the overall infrastructure, the country is like not on fire, things are more or less jalaning, okay lah, you know? And it's only when something catastrophically happens, like Prasarana recently, the train collided, right? Now everybody's asking how the hell automated train can collide, right? Then only people want to know, like, hey, the maintenance you all got to do, hey, software update you all got to do, bro. Right?
Sounds familiar.
After the fact, right? But because they're not paying enough tax. But in Europe, you're paying such a high tax rate that you will, every small thing also, you will nitpick, you know what I mean? The garbage collector didn't come, you'll be like, why the garbage collector didn't come? Hey, he missed this small cigarette bar on the road here, bro. Ask him to come and pick it up, bro. I'm paying for that, right? The 55% income tax that I'm paying goes towards that. And so you are more inclined, as in when the government says, oh, we're going to implement whatever $2 billion in cybersecurity, you'll be like, bloody hell, what you buying, bro? Right? I want to make sure you buy some good shit. Right?
Submarine.
Malaysia, our COVID thing, right? Like the contact tracing, don't know what nonsense website thing, 70 million, bro.
Okay, great. I'm going to cut you here, Dhillon. We're going to move on to the next topic first before we move on to COVID. So
COVID.
This, I think we spent quite a lot of time talking about the cultures in between Singapore. We went into the conference cultures as well. I won't really want to go back to conference culture anymore. So I think we're going to move on to our next topic. Fadli, you want to brief everybody about it?
Should we just go ahead with COVID?
No, I think open source first. Open source. Yeah, let KJ talk about open source.
Quickly, KJ. So I think the next topic that we have in mind is to talk about the open source culture. Maybe I can just start a background. Now, this is something that I haven't planned, but I'm just going to say what comes to my mind about this open source culture thing.
This is what all this is about. You don't have time to think.
It's about, dude.
No time.
I haven't done my research on open source culture, but I'm just going to say based on what I've observed. So I think generally the open source culture globally, I think it's a very good thing for the community. Right? It helps a lot when you develop tools for people to use. Good stuff. You know, I think, like for example, Nmap is a very good open source tool. Everybody's using it, right? But I think there some of the things. Okay, so I think the disadvantage of open source developers, at least this is my opinion, is that sometimes I've noticed that those free tools are being taken, bit apart, and then be developed for commercial use. Like, you know, the author stays using their own tool, but some other like engineers or capitalists say this, oh, I think I can make money with this, man. So they actually take this open source tool, they dissect it, they created their own, and then they sell it. Function is the same, probably user interface much more fancy, but you can see where I'm going with this. So open source is great, but capitalists just take advantage of this and then creates for you. So something that you can actually use becomes something you can actually use for free. If you have no idea where this actually came from, you probably pay for it. So yeah, I think that's probably my introduction for this open source project. So yeah, KJ.
That's why we need communists. Everybody share.
It's not your tool.
Our open
it's not
source.
my tool.
Our
it is
tool.
our tool. Yes.
So as an open source guy, this is what we have been expected since day one when we chose the license, especially. So if we decided to go to MIT license, or if we decided to go for GPL, then we know we have a chance. If somebody uses our tools and then they try to commercialize it, they need to give back something into the community. So that is something we already know that. And if we wanted to go for MIT, we know it for sure. If our tools is good enough, then somebody will take it and commercialize it, and whether he pays or not is another question. Okay, I've been doing a different projects. Ever since with Queen, we did a unicorn engine, Keystone engine, Capstone engine, and then all the way until today's Shilling's framework. We have seen that, and then sometimes we are quite not really happy with people using our tools to make money, and then we are spending a lot of money to print all the different kind of swags, t-shirts and all these things to give it to people, and stickers or whatsoever. But the thing over here, it's we are more happy to receive contributions, in terms of more people joining the projects, exchange ideas, try to maintain the project and make the projects move further, and then whatever we have created will attract more people. The thing over here is we have seen ever since we started the project, we have seen the eastern part, the Europeans, the Americans, they are more active in contributing into the project. Okay, monetary or not. The one good example is when we started the donation page on our Shilling website. We received like 3 to 4 donations, everything from Australia, from Europe, and from the States. Nothing from Asia until today. Actually, one from Singapore. A boy donated $5. So what I'm trying to say is yes, we even in China itself. Okay, in China itself, we don't see any. There are 1 or 2 active guys developing, and then we discovered yes, their company is using it. And they found some bug, and then they try to commit. That is one of the guys that we think is one of the good example, and that's something that we wanted to receive from the community. You see, but other than that, from the Asia part again, Singapore and Malaysia, we receive basically nothing from this part of the world. When we started the project, we heard. There are some Chinese pioneer. They told us, you will not receive any commit from the Chinese community. No, they are not into that kind of things. They are the guys that they treat this as a work. They come to the office, they use their tools and all these things. We even seen, people like 360, the Chinese antivirus guys. They even dare to advertise. One of the advantage that if in their job advertisement, their job description, if you wanted to get this job, your priority it's you want to know these few tools, and Shilling is one of it. And god damn it, we never receive a single thing from them. I should go and apply for the job.
So walk in. Do you know anything about Shilling? Yeah, sure, I do.
Yeah. I am Shilling, motherfucker.
But it'll be hilarious if the next thing you know, like some HR personnel that doesn't understand the market at all and say, hey, we are looking for people who know Shilling and have 8 years of experience.
8 years of
Okay,
experience.
Joe, we won't go to this like, hey, motherfucker. You know how long can see?
Yeah. That's why this is how I go into an interview these days. The headhunters ask me, hey, you want to come for interview or not? I say, okay, lo. I go and see, look, lo. And then once I go in there, they started to ask me the first question. The first question that I always receive, KJ, can you introduce yourself? And my first answer is, if you still want me to introduce myself, we can end this interview straight onto their face. Motherfucker, what the fuck is wrong with you guys?
Yeah, so I think there's a huge drastic difference between the East and the West, especially when it comes to open source mentality. So anybody can offer any insights. Or maybe Dhillon, you can offer anything from Amsterdam. How do people really talk about open source?
I think
UAE.
it's
Or UAE, yeah.
It's a cultural thing because from earlier days already, we are king of pirate, bro. VCD, we number one, right? Malaysia.
Yeah.
Pirate
number one.
VCD, bro. Pirated content, as in stealing shit from the movies, whatever, releasing it and stuff, right? So we are used to not paying for shit. You know what I mean? So essentially now you tell me I want to make donation for some software, I'll be like, what for? That's what the software. Unless you tell me it's gonna unlock some premium features. So which comes back to actually what I was going to say was that I think if you look at the model like how WordPress does it, right, where essentially it's free and then you can build functionality on top that's free, and then if you want extra functionality you pay to unlock. You know what I mean? I think more open source projects might find that actually that's the better path to go down, and simply because if not, people will. They choose. I mean, you ask for donation, then it's literally whether they choose to donate or not, right? But if you tie it to functionality and then because why? More functions means more code, right? More code means more shit to fix, more support needed. So somebody needs to pay for that, bro. And the developers are developing what they want to develop, as in the features that are interesting to them, not your stupid button, color, change the thing, move the interface, right? Your little stupid code changes and stuff, you want it that badly, pay for the support, bro. We'll change it for you, no problem. But I think if more open source projects went down that route, they'll find much more traction. As in, they'll get what they want. You know what I mean? Be still independent, do their stuff, code what they like, but still get some money to support their project. And if they don't have to be the ones, coming out with the new features, hire developers then, right? If there's enough people paying for those extra whatever tiers, use that money and hire dudes, man. Get them to write it easier.
Yeah. Sounds like in-app purchases. Maybe you should do that, right? KJ, maybe you should do that in a Ceiling frame.
No.
Put a button.
My case is different. The company is paying for the bill the company is paying for me to do chilling. So I'm not worried about money. I'm not worried about whatever things happens to the project. The only thing it's just looking at the community, how they participate and how they join into it's fun. Which part of the world having the passion to join in, and then which part of the world is actually fuck you, just use it.
I mean, look at Metasploit. Metasploit is a perfect example, right?
Yeah.
It started out as Metasploit, as in it's still Metasploit, obviously, but it's Metasploit Community Edition, right? And then you just shit, right? So kind of same idea, bro. I mean, it's still open source, part of it anyway.
To put it simply, who actually pays for weed out?
Nobody.
Yeah, everybody's just your pass is expired. You just click close.
So anyway,
I think there's a business model thing, right? So when I build my my startup, right, I would say 99% of everything we use are open source, right? No, it doesn't matter Node.js or React front end, or the only thing we actually pay for is just the entire AWS consumption in the cloud. But everything else is open source, right? And for example, we use some of the problem we try to solve is host CTF labs in the cloud, right? Through web portal, and we use tools like Guacamole and things like that. These are all open source tools. But I think it still goes back to business model. I think the key is how do you switch your business model to say run a subscription model if you need to monetize. I think that's really how the world is, because there's a risk. For example, Node.js is a good example, right? Every other week there's a whole bunch of vulnerability we have to deal with, right? And where the money is really, so we use a code scan tool called Snyk. I can't even pronounce it. Snyk or Snyk or whatever you call it, SNYK or SKNY. And they're the right business model, right? The business model is really you buy a subscription, they do the scanning for you. They have better tooling for you to fix those bugs and integrate that to your pipeline. So I think that's really where the business model has changed with the open source world. Yeah. So yeah, that's my 2 cents thoughts about open source. Yeah. So we did contribute some stuff back to open source community, like we put some of our labs, machine learning labs into GitHub, but we have very little traction. I mean, probably you're not famous enough like like KJ. So maybe one day if you say, hey, I'm the guy who did the machine learning lab. Yeah.
Say now, bro. Say now.
Say now,
I can't remember the URL. Yeah. Go to the Cyber Assembly website.
I can sell you star.
Yeah.
No, in China we can buy star. Everybody can buy star in China.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, tons of people in China. Yeah. Anyway.
Actually, one of the most famous open source project that is that everyone is using, like probably everyone is using, but no one contributes or even talk about donation on top of just WinRAR, is Wikipedia. How many of you actually donated Wikipedia? They always have this big banner one, right?
Yeah.
Donate to us.
I think I donated once, bro. But it was a very long time ago. I think I did. Like $10 or something.
I did.
Yeah. Right? Because I think the first time that banner came up, because it felt like, this is some serious shit, bro. Like if they fucking run out of money, it's a problem, right? And so, but that only worked one time, right? After that, I was like, I think they must have gotten a lot already, should be okay.
Yeah.
For Malaysia, still quite a lot, leh.
They still survive.
Yeah. But I did donate to Wikipedia, but it was a long time ago. So yeah.
Yeah, I think open source is here to stay. I mean, it could just come off as something for people to do whatever they want to do, because without the restrictions and all that kind of stuff. So one of the key problems we see with a lot of open source projects, as everyone here has quoted, is the support behind the project itself. After a while, the developers just went like, we're done with whatever we're doing, and subsequently it's for someone else to pick it up and for someone to continue. So it's like one of the machine learning object detector that I was using quite some time back. Yeah, it was called YOLO. So now it's like the last guy the creator developed it until version 3, and then it was picked up subsequently by the community to become version 4. So of course, we hope with this kind of open source projects, it will continue, and everybody will just continue participating to give back. Maybe not in Asia context. Hopefully, we become more pragmatic, or become more acceptance,
or less pragmatic. Yeah.
The problem I feel
less pragmatic. Yes.
Especially when you come with AI stuff, right? If somebody improve YOLO, they will keep it first before they commit it to the fork, because it will be a model, and they will definitely want to monetize that object detector. Like,
of course.
Stupid app that counts objects. I'm sure you guys have heard about it, where you take a photo or whatever, a whole stack of pencils or some shit, and you can count how many pencils there are over there, right? And the free version, you can scan 2 or 3 times, and then but the enterprise version is 2K per month, and it's a video feed. So they're using it for industrial purposes. As in, just imagine webcam mounted over production line, and objects are fucking flying by, and they're counting how many mails, how many packages, whatever the hell it is you need to count, right? So object detection, right? If somebody built a better YOLO, why do you think GPT-3 is so damn long to get access? Fucking took me 6 months plus to get my beta access to GPT-3. I have it now. But by the time you got it already, you're like, what was it I wanted to build? Shit, I can't remember.
But it is what it is. It's always going to be like this. I don't think it's ever going to change.
Exactly. It's going to be like that. Yeah. Or you pay to play. I mean, GPT-3, same thing, right? You want to get early access, or you want access, you can pay for it. Or you fully wait, lor.
Yeah. It's like that. Yeah. Right, so I think
you guys said of Patreon. Was it Patreon?
Yeah, Patreon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a reflection of change of business model, right? That instead of you pushing an album on Spotify or whatnot, I say come and donate because you want to support this artist. I think it's about the world changing business model. Yeah.
But isn't it like OnlyFans as well?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Man of culture, I see.
Yeah, culture.
Hey, bro, I got a bounce, man. I've got emails that I answer.
All right.
Bro, everybody's asking me 1,001 things here. I've been
actually, I was supposed to end it here. We wanted to hear a rant. So if you got any last minute rant about COVID, and open source.
That won't take too long, bro.
All right. Probably we're gonna leave it to the next episode if we ever manage to get Dhillon back. on air again, he'll listen to him talk about COVID.
If you want me back, that's more like it. I'm always but you guys invite me, I shall come on the ball.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me, by the way. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for popping by, Dhillon.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks.
All right.
Thanks so much, man. See you guys.
Thanks.
See you.
Thanks, Dhillon.
Bye. Okay, we're done. Is it?
No, I think we still got. I mean, unless you guys want to go through the COVID together.
We're more enough content. Okay, we can go talk about it.
Yeah. Let's go through COVID. I mean, it's the last topic for the day. Fadli, you want to push this off?
I do not know how to intro this. So I think probably what I can do is more towards like probably what we should talk about is how does COVID affect the cybersecurity ecosystem in terms of work, in terms of conferences and everything. I think this is quite straightforward. We can actually focus on, right? Like what Dhillon mentioned just now. Ever since COVID, the experience when attending conferences, the hallway track, it's different than when having conferences via Zoom, right? And I think, and I totally agree with that. The number of people attending physically versus the number of people attending digitally, it's different, right? The way people interact is also different, but also there's a plus side to COVID as well. People are starting to be more comfortable working from home. And some of them even mentioned that they are more productive because one, they don't actually have to spend 1 hour for their train journey to and fro. So altogether, they actually minus off 2 hours of their day, and they can actually start focusing on work without even showering. So so this is the plus side and downside of COVID. Right? So what do you guys think? How does this? What's the positive and negative side of COVID in terms of your experience in work and conference?
I mean, for me, I like COVID because you get to work from home. That's like, okay, I was a hater at first. I didn't really like working from home. I always thought, if you want to do work, you should do work in the office because it's very hard to, work at a place where you rest as well. But after doing it for like one whole year straight, I felt like work from home now it should be the default. So I enjoy working from home. So when I go for meetings in the morning, I just put on a shirt. Maybe I'm not wearing anything underneath.
Okay, we don't imagine, yeah.
Okay, guys, I'm wearing something now. Don't worry.
Okay.
Don't stand up.
Yeah. Do you have a Patreon that we can donate to?
I got Yeah, so that's that. And of course, it's like just really the work difference. You can take considerable breaks in between your work. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but for me, especially when it comes to development or whatever stuff, it's never like a prolonged period. I can sit here from 8 to 5 or 9 to 5, just holding out all the stuff that I have. It's more like it comes at a moment it hits. It's like a artist kind of vibe. It hits you at a moment where I'm here. If not, you have to take a break. Then you get and work from home really gives me that flexibility. I feel like I'm working at Google now.
Pengfei, okay, maybe I ask you this question. Do you feel like you're actually working more when you are working from home or lesser?
Okay, truth is, I feel I'm more efficient. I feel like
that's not the question.
Okay.
Do you feel like you are working more or working less than you are in office? Actually, like the hours of your work. Yes.
Right.
Do you feel like you are working more? Okay, so the reason why I'm asking this is, okay, for me, somehow, if I were to work from office, after 5:30 p.m., that's it. I shut down my laptop, I go home, I don't see. But at home, my laptop is continuously to be on. And then sometimes I feel like there is a sense of attraction for me to open up what's the next email that comes in and then just reply from there. So I tend to feel like I spend more time working when you're working from home than I was in office. So how about you?
Right. For me, I really feel in regards to this, right, it depends on what kind of work that I'm handling. So if it's development, as I said just now, maybe at 9 to 5, I don't really have the inspiration of doing it. But suddenly at 10 o'clock at night, I'm sitting here with my coffee and suddenly, boom, shit, I feel like writing some code and I'll pop it up and I'll do it. Regards of, really more hours being spent on work, I don't really think so, because as I said just now, I feel like my time spent is much more efficient as opposed to working in the office. Because I know exactly when I'm most productive and I'm able to churn out the most amount of stuff. I mean, the work is still the same. I get assigned my load every sprint. I get assigned my load, and after from that sprint, I finish up my work, and we go through the sprint day by day. I finish it up. So the workload is still the same, but the working hours and working efficiency really drastically changes because it's really up to me. I mean, that's from my job. I don't know about you guys, but that's how it was for me. Yeah, which is why I really enjoyed working from home even until now.
I think it all depends on. It's not just individuals. I think all this at the end is still goes back to corporate culture. How your supervisors see things.
Yeah.
The boundaries and whether they even get. I think for us, I think the other angle or the other flipping the table is how do even supervisors now manage people who are working from home. Yeah, so I think it's not just working from home. Is it better for you, for me? I think it's a whole entire package. But I think in terms of COVID, one thing actually I'll just share some of my experience or some of my thoughts behind this from the community angle or actually for Div0 angle, which I'm sure all of us as crew we have felt it, is I think the good thing is for all of us for old guards, we have been Div0 for 3, 4, 5 years. We know what Div0 is about. We know what why we are doing this. And but the thing is one big concern or one thing that I know that we will struggle with and will need to continue reinforce or even put more effort in is actually our new members, because they just know that there's a group and there's a chat group and there's Zoom. But the thing about Div0, you all know, right, is this following, right? People want to see each other. We don't even need a topic today, right? We just jump into Discord and just talk lah, right? That's the beauty about any communities, and we can talk about anything under the sun. And that's the thing about I think that this spirit that new members that comes in, they still don't understand and feels like, okay, if I'm a newbie, I join in, there's a bunch of experienced people, I'm just here to ask some question and that's it. But that's not really the true spirit what community is about. And also, what a conference all this is about as well. It's not just we talk about the hallway, like as Dhillon was talking about the hallway track, or DEFCON, we call it the line con as well, right? So it's I think it might cause, I think new people coming to cybersecurity might be missing out on some of these things the last 1 year or 1.5 years, because they do not feel the atmosphere. A lot of things is just enforced by the atmosphere. You enter a place with people just wearing t-shirts and shorts, just talk about cybersecurity, and that's all you want to be part of this this whole community, right? Just talk and then bouncing off ideas, rubbing passions and rubbing interests of each other, and it just works. And cybersecurity is a lot more than that. And same goes for conferences, which is now we have to remember back in the days. Then we have to say have you attended DEFCON? No. Have you entered? You go to this conference before? No. It's like okay, I have no idea how to tell you what is this supposed to be. I don't know. KJ, how about you? What is it like in I don't know, Malaysia?
China, man.
China.
He can't go back to Malaysia. Yeah.
My office is in Beijing, and I hate Beijing so much. The way how they talk, and then the food is so fucked up over there. So I spoke to my boss when I joined, and then he says, pick a city in China, as long as when we need you, you can come back, which never happens. So then I picked Foshan. They speak Cantonese here. So if I have any trouble, I need to shout at somebody in the streets. I can shout Cantonese. So I survive here.
And they will appreciate it, yeah.
Yeah, they appreciate it. It's like, okay, you gotta cut this. Okay, so what happened is I seldom go back to office ever since I joined the company. So before the COVID, yes, I'm in the office. I'm in the office like what? Every half a month, every 2 weeks I'll be in the office, and then the other 2 weeks I'll be in southern part of China. So what happened? It's yes, what you guys say is true. Most of the time when I have a new idea for chilling, the time is very weird. It's always like 10:30, and that is the time. If I'm in Beijing, exactly that is the time that I'm in a bloody subway. But the problem is the problem. You cannot leave. You cannot leave our office like by 7 o'clock. The Chinese doesn't allow you to do that. Everybody will try to pretend to work until 9 o'clock. The 996 thingy. That's what they're talking about. So I leave office at 9:30, and then I leave office like 10 o'clock, and then when I hit the subway, and then I have a new idea. Once you reach home, that is a critical part. You take a shower and then fuck it, I'm gonna sleep, and you've forgotten about the whole damn thing tomorrow.
Yeah. It comes and goes. It's an art. It's an art. Programming is an art.
It's an art. So either you do it at the time, or you don't do it. You see, so that's why ever since COVID, I have more time at home. Then I discovered, you don't have to travel. That is the most amazing thing in the entire thing. Before I come to China, when I was working in Malaysia, same thing. Every day we need to stuck in the jam, like for a couple of hours, and then we're gonna waste time and all these things. And it's not proper to say this, but this working from home thingy, it's kind of amazing.
I think telecommuting should be part of our work life. Even if COVID goes away, I think it brings a lot of easier administration, especially to corporations as well, over this kind of stuff. Sure, maybe the supervisor will finally learn to be like my friend. My friend who's in Google in US, he tells me that his supervisor don't give a shit about what he does. He can fly to Miami the night before, have a party the next day when he's back, so long as he gets his stuff done. So I think as Asia communities or even in Asia corporations, it's a huge thing that we need to learn that sitting at the desk, right, especially in tech jobs, cyber jobs, it doesn't help unless you're doing, even for policy writing, I don't think you can just sit there and write because it doesn't come to you. The logic doesn't come to you. It's an art. Everything that you do over here is an art. When the timing hits, when the inspiration hits, that's when you are able to churn out the most amount of production. Yeah.
I think there's no best way, lah. I do one thing I really do enjoy going back to office from time to time is actually the team building part of it.
Oh right, of course.
And it's only when you understand, you know your colleagues, and they are not just a name on the screen, that you can really talk, bounce off ideas, and really understand each other, and push a lot of agenda forward. As much as as much as I like come from my own home and so on, but sometimes this. I do feel that there are pockets of time that actually I was back in office with my colleagues that it's a time that we actually push through a lot of new policies or new projects, and really move the whole project forward, because it's that teamwork.
I think the physical touch, especially when it comes to teammates, I think that's very important. I think that's one thing that's working from home doesn't give, definitely. So
that is the nature of your team and the task that you're going to look at. My immediate boss only talked to me like ever since I joined since 2018. He only talks to me like twice a year, 3 times a year.
Shit.
That's my immediate boss. And then I do send him report and all these things. So face-to-face meeting and doing a discussion for half an hour and all these things is like twice a year or 3 times a year.
Wait. So KJ, this report is in Chinese?
No, my boss is ABC.
Oh, all right. That's good. I can't imagine.
Yeah. If you want me to, and then Chinese is like you cannot understand the Chinese, so don't go into that. And between me and my team, it's even simpler. Our discussion always goes through a simulator. I fly quad. So we have this quad simulator called Div0. So all of us join into the game, and then when we was flying in the simulator, we talk about codes and all these things, and this is how we do our discussion.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Maybe we should try that here. Right, Emil? Maybe we should try that. Yeah. Microsoft Flight Simulator.
No. Lift off. Those quadcopters simulation. Yeah.
Right. Okay, that's great.
Racing track.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool to know, of especially in China, most of our viewers or listeners will definitely, most of them wouldn't have worked in China, for such a long period of time, such as yourself. So I think that's great insight. Yeah. So I think, drawing that, I think we can come to the conclusion that we all feel working from home is pretty good. It should be implemented, as part of the system. Not as a whole system, definitely, but as part of the system.
Yeah. I think we're the blessed few that's able to still hold on to a job and being able to work from home.
Yes.
So I think we're definitely blessed in a way.
Yes.
And there's a lot of people in other industries who are suffering, who probably still need to continue going to work. and
of course.
even worse, losing their jobs. So
yeah. I mean, in the tech sector, we're all quite lucky as when it comes to this. Yeah. So I think with that, I think that's about it for this episode of Div0 Unfiltered. It's an extremely long episode. Maybe by the time you listen to this part, we have split the episode into 2. Right, Emil? There's a plan, huh? Maybe we can cut halfway. We just say, on the last episode of Div0 Unfiltered.
Part 1 must have the advertisement.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Get it done by tonight. Yeah.
That's it, Emil. You have only 24 hours.
I'm just gonna put on Twitter and say like, here we are. We actually talk about this. Just wait for me to wait for the team to. I'm not the one who's editing it, but we do have a crew that looks into that. But I'm not gonna stress out on this. So.
Singaporean.
Right. Thanks. So thanks to everybody, and thanks to all the listeners and viewers for joining us for episode 3 or 4. 3 part 1 and 3 part 2. Yes. Thank you. All right. Hopefully we will see you guys and catch you guys on the other side for episode 4 when it comes. All right. With that, 3, 2, 1.